Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G-Lon33. I'm back here tonight with your official Friday Night Smackdown review. This is for your Crown Jew Go Home show. As you guys know, I give you guys a review for Monday Night Raw live every single week. Some Wednesdays I do AEW and NXT, and Fridays I give you guys SmackDown reviews. You guys know it's tough for me to go live on Fridays, but I still will get you guys the review some way or another. But we're going to be talking about SmackDown tonight. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to say this was a bad show. This was a lifeless show. This was a boring show. All right, this was a very boring go home show for Crown Jew. I don't know if it's because Crown Jew, WWE knows this is more of a network special. This is more for the people in Saudi Arabia. All right, I don't know if that's why they're not putting as much care or as much effort into these shows. Because Monday Night Raw is almost always bad. All right, but I'm getting more of the vibe that this WWE just doesn't care right now. They just don't care about the product they're putting out. Really, it's not even that. It doesn't, because it's one thing to try and just be bad at what you do. All right, that's most weeks on Monday Night Raw. But the last couple of weeks, it's to me, it's just like WWE does not care. They don't care, what kind of show they put on. And, I don't expect the ratings for SmackDown to be good anyway. All right, they're going to go down. All right, because for one, the World Series started tonight. All right, plus the NBA is back. So I expect the viewership to go down. All right, mainly because of the World Series and the NBA. But it's also going to go down a little bit more because SmackDown tonight was on FS1. SmackDown's advertised each and every week to be on Fox. All right, and I know there's going to be a couple of people that are going to claim, oh, they didn't know SmackDown was on FS1 tonight. So I expect the viewership for SmackDown to probably barely, and I mean barely, make it past 2 million. All right, it'll be lucky if it's like a 2.1 or 2.2. All right, but this show tonight was just boring and lifeless. Other than Brock Lesnar destroying the Mysterios and Cain Velasquez again, this was a boring show. All right, not much happened. This was mainly just advertised for Crown Jewel. All right, the whole Bailey Nikki Cross thing. We still have no idea when that match is gonna take place. And you guys realize, and I'm gonna say this again. I said this on Monday. All right, do you guys realize that Survivor Series, one of the big five WWE pay-per-views, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, and Survivor Series. Survivor Series, the last big pay-per-view for the year. Survivor Series is basically less than 3 weeks away. If you count, we basically have next Friday night show, which will be taking place the day after Crown Jewel. Then we have another show, and then we have another show. So basically, there's only three weeks in the build for Survivor Series, and we have no idea what they're gonna do. I'm like, if I had to guess, they're probably gonna go down the champion versus champion route. All right, so Lesnar, because I don't see him losing to Cain Velasquez. I think there's no chance that Lesnar's losing that title to Cain Velasquez on next Thursday, which I will give you guys a Crown Jewel review. It might be a little bit later in the night because I know Crown Jewel will be on the air in the afternoon, but the review for that show is going to be a little bit later because I got other things to do. So you guys make sure you guys will look out for my Crown Jewel review. But legit, there's 3 weeks left till Survivor Series. So what, we're gonna get Lesnar versus Seth? I have to guess. I have no idea what's gonna happen with Seth and Bray in Saudi Arabia. No idea. But I don't see Bray winning that championship. All right. Um, you know, Probably Bailey versus Becky, which is a match I would actually look forward to. Right, that's a matchup we almost never seen on the main roster. We've seen so many of the four horsemen. We've seen the four horsemen go at each other so much, but we've almost never seen Bailey versus Becky. All right, other than Sasha versus Bailey, Becky versus Bailey is basically the only other four horsewomen feud that we haven't seen. All right. Um, I guess we would get Shinsuke versus Styles, which would be heel versus heel. So I don't know how that would go out unless they have like maybe you give Daniel Bryan the U.S. Championship. I don't know. I mean the Intercontinental Championship, but we get Styles versus Bryan. I don't know because Styles doesn't even have a contender right now. They did announce tonight that Styles there will be a battle royal to determine Styles' next contender, and Styles will defend the title against that same person later in the night. So maybe Styles does lose the title at Crown Jewel. I don't think he will, but we'll see. And the tag team championship, we're getting New Day versus Revival next week for the SmackDown tag team championships. And right now on Raw, the Viking Raiders are champions. So either way, no matter if the New Day win that match, I could see the New Day winning that match just because of what happened with Xavier Woods, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know really. But SmackDown was lifeless tonight. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. Not much to really talk about, but we will talk about it. As always, you guys, thank you guys for making a stop here on the Legit Shoot podcast. I love you guys' support. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, alright? But without wasting any more time, let's get into SmackDown tonight. So the show started off with a Miz TV segment. This was basically to hype up the match between Team Hogan and Team Flair. And once again, like I've been saying the last couple of weeks, I really don't understand why we're getting this match at Crown Jewel, especially when we have a 5v5 Survivor Series match every single year. It's one of the things that Survivor Series is known for. And Survivor Series will be taking place only 2 weeks after Crown Jewel. So even if you really wanted to do Team Hogan versus Team Flair, you couldn't save that for Survivor Series and put some kind of stakes on the line. Like, I don't know. Right? I will give WWE a little bit of credit. All right. At the beginning, you had Miz do his normal stick. If I'm the Miz, first of all, if I'm the Miz, I don't know why he was so energetic. All right. If I'm him, I would kind of be a little bit ticked off. I'll be like, hey guys, I'm the A-lister. I'm just saying this, I'm thinking from the perspective of the Miz, all right? I'm an A-lister, all right? I'm the most must-see WWE superstar of all time, right? Why wasn't I selected for either one of your teams? But instead you have the Miz out there acting all happy, sucking off the Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, like did we not just see the Miz suck up to both these two a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, the season premiere of Raw? Like, like come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right, but I will give WWE credit. Miz did mention how members of the other two teams are members of the two teams that were on Monday Night Raw. They can't be on SmackDown because they weren't drafted to SmackDown. All right, but WWE then went right back. They made sense. They made logical sense here for once, right? But then WWE went right back on that later in the night when we had Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio is a Raw exclusive superstar, but yet he was on SmackDown tonight, right? Which we'll talk about because WWE's logic with that whole situation makes zero sense to me, all right? But anyway, basically, nothing happened in this segment. I knew where this was going the second the show started. Nothing happened, all right? This was basically this Team Hogan and Team Flair, firing shots off at each other. Anybody with any common sense would know at Crown Jewel that Team Hogan's probably gonna win. All right, the baby faces. First of all, Saudi Arabia, that crowd, they probably don't even know the difference between a baby face and a heel. So why would you not have the baby faces win? All right, just to get a cheap pop from the Saudi Arabian crowd. All right, so I don't know, but this was basically the two teams went up against each other because Team Flair is the heel team, Hogan's the babyface team, and where this would lead to, they're filing insults back. I'll say one thing: Shorty G, or Chad Gable, the guy's dressing like a basketball player now. All right, like I don't know. I don't know now that they're calling him Shorty G. I don't know if they're trying to make him, come off as like a short basketball player. Like I don't. I'm being honest with you guys. I really don't understand what they're trying to get at with this whole story, man. I really don't. It looked pretty cringe to my eyes, really. You had John Gable out there in basketball shorts. Like I don't even know. I really didn't even know what to think. It was so cringe, so cringe. All right, but basically this would lead to Hulk Hogan challenging Ric Flair, basically saying, let's do a little preview for Ground You, which makes no sense. No sense, all right? You're advertising this match for pay per view, all right? So basically, you're advertising this because you want people to pay money to watch this on pay per view, right? But yet you're giving away most of the match tonight on free cable TV. Huh? Like, what sense does that make? So basically, it was basically the main event was Roman, Ali, and Shorty G versus Corbin, Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke. All right. First, Sami Zayn was supposed to be in the match. There was a line where Ali dissed Sami Zayn as Sami, doesn't compete anymore. Like, we have not seen Sami Zayn compete in months. All right. And it's not like he would win. All right. Sami Zayn, I don't think he's won a match since he's in years. All right. Since he came back, he hasn't won a match on WWE TV. I can't remember him winning a match. But this would lead to Sami Zayn accepting the match, but then saying that he can't compete because he hurt his shoulder on the flight. So basically, Cesaro comes out. All right, I love Cesaro. I wish he would get more of a push. The guy's a beast. The guy is a beast, man. Like I don't understand why he. First of all, he wasn't drafted. He was signed to SmackDown as a free agent. The guy's a beast, and then you're not using him. All right, I did hear rumors that Sheamus, that Sheamus is getting healthy. I would love to see Sheamus come back. Sheamus and Cesaro are a great tag team. All right, I love them as a tag team. Bring back the bar. SmackDown has a decent tag team division. I took a look at it. SmackDown has 6 or 7 teams in their tag team division right now. You add another great team in the bar, you have a decent tag team division. And who knows, maybe, whenever the Usos come back, maybe the Usos go over to SmackDown. You would have a fantastic tag team division. The Usos, the Bar, the New Day, Heavy Machinery, the Revival. Like, are you kidding me right now? Right, not to mention a couple other teams that you have in there. Like, you have Rude and Ziggler. Like, your tag team division would look amazing. It would look pretty amazing. It would probably be the best tag team division across all of WWE. All right, I'm not gonna say AEW because AEW's tag team division is something else right now. But still, you guys understand my point. But basically, I like this. Cesaro came out and he didn't waste no time. He's a heel, but he came out, took out off his jacket, and then went right after Roman Reigns. This would lead to the baby faces getting the advantage over the heels, and just basically set up the main event a little bit later on in the show. I'm not gonna, spend time talking about the main event because I didn't watch the main event. Because why would I? It was just a 6-man tag. What I know is that the baby faces won. All right, Roman Reigns, he got the advantage. I forgot. I think Ali pinned Cesaro. All right, I don't know. But the thing is, Roman could easily spear Cesaro at the end of the match, but he decides to tag Ali instead. Ali goes up to the top, hits the 450 splash, and that's how the match ends. So we took care of the main event. All right, so we don't have to talk about it later. After this, we had the New Day versus Rude and Ziggler. There was nothing really special, to talk about in this match. All right, this was just your basic tag team TV match. It wasn't bad. It's just nothing special happened in it. I will say one thing: Xavier Woods, over in Sydney, because earlier in the week, the SmackDown brand did a couple live shows in overseas in Australia, and Xavier Woods tore his Achilles during a house show match. So that tells you WWE is real. All right, just because it's a house show doesn't mean injuries can't occur. All right, I know Xavier Woods had surgery earlier in the week, and Woods, he's in good spirits, but he will be out mostly for the close to a year. It was reported by Dave Meltzer that via the Wrestling Observer that Woods will be out close to a year. All right, so he won't be back till around this time next year. Achilles injuries take a long time to heal. All right, but based on what we've seen on Woods on social media, Woods is in good spirits. The New Day is staying positive. Yes, they don't have their boy Xavier, but they'll be fine without him. All right, you know, I won't be surprised if, remember, next week they did confirm we're going to be getting the New Day versus the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I don't remember how the New Day even earned this opportunity. All right, I don't remember, the last time we saw the Revival compete on WWE TV, unless was it? I think it was last week. Yeah, I think I'm wrong. I think last week we had that 8-man tag team match when it was New Day and Heavy Machinery going up against Revival and Rude and Ziggler. And I think the New Day pinned the Revival, but I can't remember. But that's probably how they got this opportunity. I will not be surprised. We've heard rumors for years. I love the New Day. I love Kofi Kingston. I love the New Day. But there's not really much else you can do with the New Day. They've done everything. They've been heels. They've been baby faces. They're one of the most popular acts, in all of WWE. They've been a great tag team for years now. But there's really nothing else you can really do with them. All right. But we're going to be getting the Revival New Day next week. And, especially now with Xavier Woods being out with an ACL injury, I will not be surprised if WWE gives the New Day the tag team champions, the tag team championships next week. All right, I think if they do, that would be their 7th title reign, tag team title championship victory. I think their 7th win. All right, and I think that would be like their 4th or 5th SmackDown tag team championship win. So I will not be surprised if the New Day wins next week. Especially with Xavier Woods out. That would probably set up, a match between the New Day and the War Raiders at Survivor Series, which I don't mind. It would make more sense to do the Revival and the War Raiders, but we still have to wait and see. All right, like I said, I've been saying the last couple of weeks, the New Day are. If I had to make a prediction right now, I think the New Day are gonna win at Crown Jewel. They're gonna win this best in the world tag team turmoil match, whatever. Right, and then they're gonna take that momentum, and then they're gonna bring that into the next night at SmackDown, and then win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. That's what I think is gonna happen with the New Day. So if you guys see that happen next week, you heard it here first. But Xavier Woods, man, I just want to wish him a speedy recovery. Kofi and Big E will be fine without him. They'll be able to hold down the fort, Unless if another one of the New Day gets injured, then things might be messed up for them clearly as a team. Still, man, it still bothers me that Kofi lost the WWE Championship a couple weeks ago, and he, it's like Kofi hasn't done anything to go back after the WWE Championship. It's like Kofi just has moved on from Lesnar. I know the whole thing about Kofi and the New Day is the power of positivity and never, letting your head stay down for too long. But still, I would like Kofi to, at least show me a little more urgency. Like, okay, I want to fight my way back to the WWE Championship, man. I held that title for 6 months. 6 months, and I had a good lengthy reign, but I want that title back. You know what I mean? Because I want to see a real match between Lesnar and Kofi. I really do. But hey, it is what it is. Rude and Ziggler actually won this match. They won via roll-up. And then afterwards, we saw the Revival come out. It was 4-on-2, but then Heavy Machinery came out, the even odds. And then Heavy Machinery helped the New Day cause Ziggler and Rude and, what's their name? Revival to flee. whatever. This was just the build towards the tag team match at Crown Jewel. We had the B team. We also had the Lucha House Party looking on. Nothing special here, but just want to wish Xavier Woods a speedy recovery. Next up, we have a segment that I did not give a shit about at all. We had Lacey Evans going up against, what was her name? Cornita Evans? Or no, Cornita Williams? I don't remember her name at all. I did not care for this segment at all. All right, I am so tired of seeing these, jobber segments just to make a superstar look strong. Like, can we get some actual competition in the ring? That's how you build up power rankings. That's how you build up a division. The reason why, Sasha and Becky and Charlotte and Bayley, the Four Horsemen, the reason why they're always at the top of the division is because nobody can compare to them. Really. WWE doesn't put any time building up any of these other names. The only other name, other than those four that has any cred is, Alexa Bliss and to an extent Asuka, even though WWE books Asuka very poorly most of the time. All right. Other than that, most of these superstars in the division don't have any cred, and maybe to an extent you could say also Carmella. All right, you could put Carmella on this list, but I don't care about Lacey Evans. I don't. I know I read a report that WWE was thinking about turning Lacey Evans into a babyface because, SmackDown is very weak on babyface in their women's division. The only babyfaces they have right now is Nikki Cross, Carmella, and that's about it. Alexa Bliss, Alexa Bliss never really had a full babyface turn. All right, I still consider Alexa Bliss a heel. All right, even though that's why I don't understand the whole Alexa Bliss Nikki Cross tag team, because Alexa Bliss is a heel most of the time, and Nikki Cross is a babyface. So I don't know. It makes zero sense to me. But I don't care about Lacey Evans. You guys know this. I think Lacey Evans is cringe. The only reason why Lacey Evans even gets pushed is because she's a blonde. And you know how Vince is about blondes, all right? This was stupid. Lacey Evans, she came out and said, I don't need to waste my time on a nasty like you. So when the bell rings, I'm going to walk out, turn my back, and keep walking. So she did that. The bell rang and she walked out. And it looks like this jobber was going to pick up a count of victory over Lacey Evans. But I knew where it was going. Lacey Evans is a heel. Right when she turns her back and she's ready to celebrate at like the count of 9, Lacey comes right back into the ring, hits her with the woman's right, one of the worst finishing moves in all of WWE, and picks up the victory. Lacey, when she was doing the pin, man, it was weird. She was kind of doing the squats on her opponent while doing the pin. It looked pretty weird to me, but I don't care. I don't care about Lacey Evans, man. Like, build up your division. Give me actual matches. I understand, yes, it can be a little bit tough, especially since SmackDown Live is full, and I mean full of heels. There's not a lot of baby faces. There's only like 2 baby faces right now, and we all know eventually, most likely, Sasha's gonna turn into a baby face. All right, the feud with Bayley. We all know that's most likely gonna happen in the next couple months. Hopefully, if WWE has the patience, hopefully for WrestleMania season. But right now, man, it's Lacey Evans. I don't give a crap. SmackDown's women's division is pretty weak outside of Sasha and Bayley. All right. So next up, we had basically Braun Strowman destroying Drew Gulak again. I ranted on this a little bit on last week's review, man. I like Drew Gulak, and the guy, is being treated as a jobber right now, man. Like, you really brought him over. He was just, a couple weeks ago, he was just the Cruiserweight champion. He put on a great match with Leo Rush on NXT a couple weeks ago, man. But, the guy comes over, he gets drafted to SmackDown just to be treated as a jobber. Like, this is the kind of stuff that makes me want Vince McMahon to be taken out of power, all right? Like, come on. Like, really? This is the way you have to book this? So basically, you had Drew Gulak versus Kalisto. And I didn't care for the match at all. I didn't. But basically, midway through the match, Strowman comes out and basically this distracts Gulak. Gulak, instead of focusing and, ending Kalisto as quickly as possible, he turns his back, and this allows Kalisto to hit the Selena del Sol on him and get the victory. Right after the bell, Strowman comes out, Lucha House Party, they leave, and Strowman hits Gulak with 2 running power slams. And then he takes the mic and basically says, "See that, Tyson Fury? This is what's going to happen to you. I crowned you. You're going to get these hands." Oh my gosh, this was bad. This was so cringe. Like, I can't stand it. They showed a video. All right, I saw this earlier in the week. They showed a video at Tyson Fury. He was down at the Performance Center training, and oh my god, you could have seen the way Tyson Fury was running the ropes, man. It was so cringe, so cringy, man. But that wasn't even the worst part. They showed Fury running the ropes, and Strowman came out of nowhere and hit Fury with a shoulder tackle, and I was like, bruh. And it looked so bad because it looked like Fury knew that Strowman was coming, and it was a terribly scripted segment. I have no idea how the match is gonna go. I'm telling you right now, because I don't plan to make predictions for a predictions video for Crowd Jewel. What I think's gonna happen is, I think Fury's gonna knock Strowman out. Like, there's no way Fury, undefeated, is gonna lose. Right? They're not gonna do that. All right, come on. But honestly, it's whatever. This segment was garbage. I hate Drew Gulak being buried like this. Man, like, the guy can be a valuable member of your mid-card division. Alright, but this is the kind of dumb stuff that WWE is always doing, always making these dumbass decisions. Strowman, it's whatever. It's honestly just retarded at this point, to be honest. Nothing else really to talk about here. So next up, we had Michael Cole interviewing Daniel Bryan, man. And I noticed this. A couple weeks ago. I talked about it on the podcast the last couple weeks, and it seems like they're turning this into a storyline. And I'm very interested to see where this leads. All right, guys. I love Daniel Bryan, man. I love this guy. One of my favorites on the main roster. And right now, it's like Daniel Bryan's a tweener, right? He's a tweener. He's not heel. He's kind of babyface, but he's not fully all the way there yet. All right, and they're doing this storyline where Daniel Bryan, he's very conflicted. He doesn't know what to do. It was basically almost a year ago. When Daniel Bryan initially turned heel. All right, you guys remember when he ended AJ Styles' WWE Championship run? And then he held the WWE Championship for basically the next 6 months up until WrestleMania. And he had a great reign. It was a great reign. I loved Daniel Bryan as a heel. And like I said, he's one of the only guys in WWE which I don't care if he's babyface or heel. Him, Sasha Banks, AJ Styles. That's probably it. All right, probably it when I really think about it. But Michael Cole came out, and remember, I talked about this last week. Daniel Bryan, we've seen the last couple of weeks the crowd has been doing the yes chants, right? Because Daniel Bryan's been acting way more like a babyface. They've been doing the yes chants, but Bryan has seen the yes chants, but he hasn't really done them, because last year when Daniel Bryan turned heel, he said the yes movement is dead. The old Daniel Bryan is dead, right? And that brought about this new Daniel Bryan that we've seen for the last year, the Planet Champion, all that other stuff. And I kind of missed the Eco WWE Championship. I love that belt. But Daniel Bryan, came out, and basically Michael Cole asked him straight up, I have one question for you. Is the yes movement back? All right, is the yes movement back? All right? And then Bryan, as he was going to answer the question, Sami Zayn and Nakamura came out. And Sami Zayn went on this 5-minute spear talking about Sami Zayn, man, I like Sami Zayn, but the guy talks a little bit too much, right? The guy can go on forever. He's like Rambling Rabbit, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Um, Sami Zayn basically was basically trying to recruit Daniel Bryan. He wanted to form a group. He wanted to form a group, a stable with Daniel Bryan, him, Nakamura, and Bryan. They said, we share a lot of similarities. When you turned your back on the people, the people turned their back on you because they started booing you, blah blah blah. So you going back to them with the Yes Movement would make you a hypocrite. You have every reason to join me, Nakamura. We would be unstoppable. Sami Zayn did said, we're both vegans, and how Sami Zayn was talking about how he hates processed food, and all that, and he hates how selfish people are. He also talked about, I don't know, something involving the ocean that Nakamura, has in common with Bryan. And basically, after Sami Zayn went on and on and on, he ended his little spiel by putting out his hand and asking Bryan to join them. So Bryan, uh, for like 2-3 minutes, Bryan's looking around the arena. The crowd's doing no, 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 doing the no chants. Um, and Bryan is considering shaking the hand. Bryan puts out his hand as he's about to shake it, and then he puts it back like he's conflicted. He has no idea what's the right thing to do. He has no idea. All right, and I find this interesting. I'm enjoying this. All right, so Bryan walks out he exits the ring without shaking Zayn and Nakamura's hand. He's looking at the crowd and he's looking at them, and it's like he has no idea what to do. He's conflicted, and I like this. I like this storyline. It's a conflicted Daniel Bryan. We've seen babyface Bryan, we've seen heel Bryan, we've seen tweener Bryan, and now we have a conflicted Daniel Bryan. He's right in the middle. He doesn't know, because Sami Zayn, even though his rant went on forever, Sami Zayn made some good points. Him and Bryan share a lot of similarities, and Nakamura as well. But it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. They could turn Daniel Bryan back into a heel. A lot of us thought Bryan was going to turn back into a heel. We thought, because we heard all these rumors of WWE wanting to do Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. They thought that the most logical way to do that would have Daniel Bryan turn heel on Roman after they finished this whole thing with Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. But now we don't know. Now we don't know. I think the most logical thing that's going to happen here, the most likely scenario is, because remember, Bryan did pin Nakamura clean last week. He pinned him clean. So that's definitely going to set up a future IC title match. Like I said, unless AJ Styles loses the Intercontinental Championship at Crown Jewel, that would lead to us getting Styles versus Nakamura at Survivor Series right now. And I don't think we're going to get that match. Why would WWE do heel versus heel? What I think is going to happen is they're going to have Daniel Bryan tease like he's going to join Nakamura and Sami Zayn. And then eventually, if they have a title match somewhere down the line, that's when we see Daniel Bryan turn full babyface and resurrect the Yes Movement. And that would probably lead to us getting Styles versus Bryan at Survivor Series. And what a match that would be. Remember, Bryan and AJ Styles had some great matches last year for the WWE Championship. So either way, no matter if we get AJ Styles versus Nakamura or Styles versus Bryan, those are both feuds we've already seen. But those are, both matches, I wouldn't mind. I would more like to see Styles versus Bryan again, because we saw Styles versus Nakamura like 3 or 4 times last year. And, Nakamura lost all those matches. But, I don't know. It's on, but think about it. Other than Brock Lesnar and Sasha Banks tonight, this wasn't a bad segment. The only negative I would say more is Sami Zayn just talks for too much. But I'm interested on where they're gonna go with the storyline. I think it's pretty predictable that Bryan's gonna turn babyface again. All right. and this is going to lead to Bryan versus babyface Bryan versus heel Nakamura for the IC title. But you never know. You never know. WWE could, pull the whole bait and switch and make Nakamura and Bryan and Zayn into a heel faction for a little bit. Who knows? Who knows? But either way, we'll see where this goes. And yeah, it's something to look out for in the next couple weeks. So next up, we had the return of the Firefly Funhouse, man. And I'm happy that the Firefly Funhouse is back. It's one of the only things on WWE TV that I actually enjoy, other than Sasha Banks and a couple other things. But the Firefly Funhouse has returned, and basically, one thing I want to say, this was about Rambling Rabbit, man. Rambling Rabbit has like 1,000 lives, right? Rambling Rabbit just cannot die. He cannot die. But how stupid, how stupid does this make Seth Rollins look? Like, are you serious right now? All right, if you guys think about this, man, you had Seth Rollins burn down the Firefly Funhouse, right? And this was supposed to make Seth Rollins cool, right? But a week and a half later, the Firefly Funhouse is rebuilt. It's rebuilt like nothing ever happened. The Firefly Funhouse looks the exact same. He doesn't have. He's not in a new location. He doesn't have new walls, new colors. No, it's the same exact Firefly Funhouse we've come to know over the last couple months with the Bray Wyatt character. And I love the Funhouse. I'm glad it's back, but it makes Seth Rollins look stupid because you had Seth burn down the Funhouse, all right, but a week and a half later, Bray's up here, doing the segment like nothing ever happened. All right, it's like nothing ever happened. It's like Seth never burnt it down. Bray didn't even mention how Seth burnt it down. I do know that Bray put out a tweet like the day after it happened, like he forgave Seth for what he had done, all this other nonsense. But in the segment tonight, Bray makes almost no mention of Seth. Almost zero. Seth is barely mentioned. WWE, this match has no build. Legit, no build. After the disaster that Hell in a Cell was, after you had one of the worst pay-per-view endings of all time, all right? I still have no idea what they're going to do in Crown Jewel. No idea. I have a feeling that, I don't think it can get as bad as Hell in a Cell was, just for the fact that Crown Jewel is taking place in Saudi Arabia. But, I don't see Bray winning the Universal title. I don't. He's a SmackDown superstar. All right? Unless you have Bray win the title that's vacated, the way they make it look, throughout this entire feud, that started at Clash of Champions, right? When Bray initially attacked Seth. Well, a little bit before that, Bray has made absolutely zero mention of the Universal Championship. I don't think he's mentioned it once. He's talked about Seth a bunch of times, but he's almost never talked about the championship itself. All right? And I have no idea where they're going with this. No idea. I love Bray. I love that the Funhouse is back. I think that we should aim towards doing Bray versus Lesnar for the WWE Championship, at some point. But, I have no idea what to expect. I don't trust WWE at all. I feel like we're going to see something even more stupid than Hell in a Cell. They put in the stipulation that nothing could stop this match. Nothing. There would be no ref stoppage. The only way the match could stop is probably if one of the superstars died. If either Seth or Bray died. All right. It's like me dying every time I watch Monday Night Raw. But I have no idea what's gonna happen at Crown Jewel. I don't. All right. Speaking of the segment itself, we see it started with a funeral for Rambling Rabbit, but we see, Bray reads something from Rabbit's parents, and their wishes was for Rambling Rabbit to have an open casket. So we open the casket and we see Rambling Rabbit. I know these are fictional characters, but still, Rambling Rabbit, man, he has like a big hole on the side of his head, and you could hear the crowd. They were gasping like ill, but all of a sudden we hear like these weird sound coming from Rambling Rabbit's body, and all of a sudden, 10 seconds later, Rambling Rabbit is alive. He's alive. He's alive. Rambling Rabbit is alive. He's been resurrected from the dead. You know, one funny thing is, during the funeral for Rambling Rabbit, they had the Undertaker's music being played, in the background. I did notice that, found that a little bit funny. I love Firefly Funhouse segments, man. But Rambling Rabbit, man, he has another 10,000 lives. But all of a sudden, we see Mercy the Buzzard, eating Rambling Rabbit again. He'll be resurrected like always next time we see Bray Wyatt. We still have Monday Night Raw, the last show before Crown Jewel. I have no idea where they're going to go with this. I'm not excited for the Fiend versus Seth. It's going to be interesting to see how Saudi Arabia, reacts to the Fiend character. You know what I mean? I have no idea what's going to happen at Crown Jewel. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm excited. I'm actually worried that they're just going to make another stupid decision. But in terms of the Firefly Funhouse segment tonight, I enjoyed the segment. Even though it did nothing really to build towards Seth and Bray, it just makes Seth look like more of a retard at the end of the day. But it's whatever. It is honestly whatever. Alright, so next up we had Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose. Alright, I did not care for the match at all. I want to care about these two. I really do. I want these, the women's division on SmackDown to be important, especially since Sasha is there. But, most of these superstars I don't care about. Nikki Cross had a backstage interview earlier in the show with Michael Cole, man. It was cringe as hell. Like, I understand a lot more now why Alexa Bliss is with Nikki Cross. Alexa is more of the talker, of the group. Nikki's more of the fighter, the scrapper. Like, she wants to go at it with their opponents. It makes some more sense why they're a duo. All right, even though WWE, it's retarded. Remember, I'm not going to let them off the hook when they drafted Alexa and Nikki Cross separate to Raw and then had them trade the SmackDown as a duo. No. Okay, I'm not going to get into that really. But I know Alexa Bliss right now, she's out again with concussion injuries, I believe. This is a thing that's happened a lot with Alexa Bliss. This is like, the third or fourth time that she's had this injury. So, I don't know. People like to call Sasha Banks injury prone. I see almost nobody mentioning Alexa Bliss is injury prone. Like, get out of here with that. But Nikki Cross, she is cringe on the mic, man. She is really, really cringe. She is far away. She is very far from her NXT days. Remember Nikki Cross versus Asuka? How great a match that was. How great a build that match was, really. But Nikki Cross, man, on the main roster, she's cringe. She's so cringe. Like, anytime she has a microphone or she's talking, I'm just like, please, I mute my TV. All right. The match itself was nothing special. Like I said, man, I always say this, man. I like Sonya Deville a lot. She has a lot of potential. Becky Lynch mentioned that on the bump a couple weeks ago, and then I saw Sonya cut a very good promo earlier this week. She was asked about Becky Lynch's comments, and Sonya ended the promo saying, Becky's gonna call me daddy when I'm done with her. I don't know if that's foreshadowing. We're not gonna see Sonya versus Becky anytime soon. All right, because Becky's on Raw, Sonya's on SmackDown. The only way that could happen is if Sonya won the Women's Royal Rumble and then challenged Becky at Mania. I think a Becky versus Sonya match would be, really good. I love Sonya, I really do. I think she's a future women's champion. It's just that WWE, I think they don't realize what they have in Sonya Deville. But I don't see Sonya winning the Women's Royal Rumble. As of right now, as of today, I think Sasha Banks is going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. But You had Sasha Banks and Bailey at ringside. Sasha looked amazing as usual. I'm liking this Bailey heel look more and more each and every week. All right, she gives me a real Ripley vibes. She really does. Um, but you know, Bailey, she had new side plates. I think she had, like, I don't know if it was spray painted or it was black tape, but she had like a big black X on her side plates. I did notice that. I like that a lot. All right, I enjoyed that a lot. But the match itself, Nikki Cross won with the neck breaker. No surprise there. You're not gonna have Nikki lose when you're building towards her versus Bailey. We still have no idea when this match is gonna happen. Right, it's probably gonna happen sometime in the next couple of weeks. Maybe next week after Crown Jewel or the week after. Because I still think we're gonna get Becky versus Bailey at Survivor Series, most likely, which would be a big time match. Um, but yeah, nothing else really happened, really. Sasha and Bailey were on commentary. Michael Cole and Corey Graves were taking a lot of, little shots at them. But Sasha wasn't responding. We know, I don't know, in terms of on TV, we know Corey Graves likes to take a lot of shots at Sasha. And Sasha she didn't really respond to most of these shots. But there was a funny moment when Nikki Cross won the match. Michael Cole and Corey Graves were like, that could happen. That could be Bailey. Mandy Rose could be Bailey in that situation. And, the look that Sasha and Bailey gave Corey and Michael Cole afterwards, that was pretty great. I don't know when we're going to see Sasha or Bailey in the ring again. Honestly, probably not, maybe not until Survivor Series. Who knows? But hey, it is what it is. This was the only real dose of women's wrestling we've seen on WWE TV this week. We didn't have no action, no women's action on Monday. But we are going to get Becky versus Kairi Sane on Monday Night Raw this week, which could be a really good match. We'll have to wait and see. That's an actual fresh matchup. All right. But, I'm not hyped for Bailey versus Nikki Cross. There's people on Twitter saying, I can't wait to see this feud kick off. Like, hello, we've seen this feud before. We saw this feud just a couple months ago when Bailey was SmackDown Women's Champion. Like, I'm sorry, but no, I don't care about Bailey and Nikki Cross. I really don't care about that at all. But we'll see where this goes. I'm not hyped for it. Like I said, the only person that should be in real contention to take that title off of Bailey is Sasha Banks. All right. Eventually, when Bailey and Sasha turn on each other and we get that feud, that's gonna be feud of the year. And I'm telling you right now, WWE has the patience. Save that for WrestleMania. That's about all I gotta say about that. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about before we get out of here, we have Brock Lesnar and this Cain Velasquez face-to-face, which has been advertised for the last week. The face-to-face really never happened, all right? So basically, all right, first thing, you had, early in the show, you had Miz mention how the Raw members of Hogan and Team Flair, they couldn't, be on SmackDown because they weren't drafted to SmackDown. All right, SmackDown is an exclusive show, just like Raw is an exclusive show. But last Monday on Raw, you had Rey Mysterio come out, and Rey Mysterio wanted, the face Brock Lesnar in the ring. He wanted Lesnar face to face, and Paul Heyman came out and explained that Lesnar was not going to be on Raw because he wasn't drafted to Raw. He is exclusive to SmackDown per the rules of the WWE draft. But tonight on SmackDown, you had Rey Mysterio there. There is no mention. I know there's no authority figures on WWE TV these days, which I must appreciate. But you had you had Rey Mysterio there. Is Rey Mysterio officially Cain Velasquez's manager? We all know that Paul Heyman is Lesnar's manager, all right? So, and Paul Heyman, he's not a WWE talent. He's not a superstar. He doesn't wrestle. So I don't mind seeing Paul Heyman on Raw. You know, we know Heyman's the executive director for Raw, but in terms of on TV, his TV character, we know, I don't mind seeing Paul Heyman on Raw. He doesn't compete. He wasn't drafted to SmackDown. You know, if it's said in the draft rules that Brock Lesnar was drafted to SmackDown with Paul Heyman, that's different. But only Brock Lesnar was drafted to SmackDown. Paul Heyman can appear on any show, all right. But when it was never revealed that Cain Velasquez has Rey Mysterio as a manager. Per storyline, we know that Cain Velasquez is supposed to be Rey's or Dominic's godson. All right, Cain Velasquez is the godfather to Dominic. And we saw Dominic backstage. He was there, and I already had an idea when I first saw this. I was like, Dominic's there, and Lesnar's there. We'll see if WWE does anything with that. And at first, I thought they weren't going to do anything with that because Cain Velasquez didn't, or Dominic, he didn't come out to the ring with Velasquez and Mysterio. But Mysterio, he talking. I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. WWE, follow your draft rules. Follow your draft rules. If you wanted Mysterio on SmackDown, you could have easily drafted him to SmackDown. And almost everybody predicted that Mysterio was going to get drafted to SmackDown. And then he got drafted to Raw. Like, maybe they will do a trade down the line where we see Mysterio get traded to SmackDown officially. But I don't know. Because I don't want to see Mysterio each and every week be there as Cain Velasquez's manager. We don't even know if Cain Velasquez is a SmackDown superstar. We'll have to wait and see until what happens after Crown Jewel. Because Cain Velasquez, he wasn't drafted to either brand, but he is a WWE superstar. But basically we see Mysterio basically said that Lesnar's gonna pay at Crown Jewel, and he's gonna do that by when Velasquez takes the WWE Championship from him. Still doesn't make sense. Well, Cain Velasquez walked in and he just gets a WWE Championship opportunity for doing absolutely nothing. But we see Lesnar and Paul Heyman backstage, and Heyman went on this whole little rant, and Heyman's like, if Lesnar's not out there, and if he's not coming out there, what do you think Lesnar's doing there? And at first I was thinking, there's no way you brought Brock Lesnar to SmackDown. You advertised Brock Lesnar, and there's no way you brought him to the building, to the arena, just to sit and do a segment with Paul Heyman backstage. Just to sit there while Paul Heyman talks backstage. There's no way. It made no sense in my eyes. Alright, but it was revealed after a while that this was funny. It was revealed that Lesnar attacked Dominic. He attacked Dominic. We see basically Dominic on the floor. His shirt is ripped, and he looks basically unconscious. The look on Mysterio's face was priceless. It was priceless. But Mysterio and Cain Velasquez, they run backstage, and Lesnar just has Cain Velasquez he has Dominic by the head. And I was just laughing. I was laughing at this, man. This was hilarious. Makes per storyline, it makes Mysterio look like an idiot because you brought your son back to the same place where he got destroyed by Lesnar the first time. That makes a lot of sense, right? And Mysterio knew that Lesnar was in the building. And then the thing about it is, Mysterio and Velasquez went to the ring and left Dominic backstage by himself, where Lesnar could easily attack him with nobody there to stop him. Yeah, great job there. They'd be making Mysterio look like a bad parent. But afterwards, man, we come back from commercial, and we see Dominic. He's in the trainer's room, and Viaxis and Mysterio are checking on him, and out of nowhere we see Lesnar bash Viasquez in the back with a trash can. All right, hits him multiple times with a trash can, and then we see Mysterio jump on Lesnar. Lesnar easily takes Mysterio, puts him in position for the F5, and just throws Mysterio into a concrete wall. Right, it sounded bad. I would not be surprised if Mysterio re-injured himself, man. He absolutely threw, like, Mysterio went flying into that wall. And the way it sounded, I would not be surprised if Mysterio broke a couple bones, because that looked like it hurt. Then Lesnar picks up King Velasquez and S5s him onto Dominic, who is sitting on the trainer's bed. So all that's left, you see, is all the Mysterio family. You see Ray, Dominic, and Velasquez all just lying there, just hurt, beaten by Lesnar. All right. A little bit later on in the show, we see Velasquez. He's back in the locker room and he is pissed. But then all he does is start talking in Spanish. And basically someone translated and said, "You're going to die, Brock. You're going to die, Brock." He's repeating it over and over again. I don't have a problem with Velasquez doing that. This was the best part of the show. Lesnar just destroying Mysterio, Dominic, and Velasquez. Like I said, Lesnar's not losing the title. Lesnar's going to beat Velasquez. I would be very surprised. I will rant. Who knows what's going to happen if Velasquez was to win at Crown Jewel. But Brock's going to win. I'm pretty certain on that. But, like I was saying, Velasquez can speak English. I've heard the guy speak English. I know Spanish is his primary language, but Velasquez can speak English. He's a decent speaker. He's not like, Andrade, that doesn't really know much and really does need a or needs a manager there. Velasquez knows pretty good English. So I don't know why he almost never uses it. He's out here talking in Spanish, saying you're gonna die. Just say it in English. Just say it in English, man. Like, come on. But either way, that's all that happened here. Like I said, this was the best part of the show. Just seeing Lesnar just throw Mysterio into the wall and then F5 Velasquez on Dominic. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny, and I enjoyed it. All right. And we know Lesnar's winning at Crown Jewel. I'm almost 100% certain on that. I don't care for the build, really. I don't really care for the build. It's just going to be interesting to see, what WWE does. Because Lesnar's going to win. Will they continue this storyline after Crown Jewel? That's going to be the question. If I had to make a prediction, I think Lesnar's going to beat Velasquez. And we've heard rumors that Velasquez needs, some kind of surgery on his right leg. What I think's going to happen is Lesnar's going to beat Velasquez, and then he's going to attack Velasquez's right leg, which will, wipe Velasquez off the TV, so allow him to get the surgery, and then, come back when he's, healed sometime next year. That's what I think. That's where they're going to go with Velasquez and this storyline, in my opinion. All right? But it is what it is, Other than that, really, SmackDown was uninteresting tonight. There was not much to happen. Always enjoy seeing, the best female wrestler in the world, Sasha Banks, do her thing. And the Lesnar segment was great. But other than that, really, this show was boring. This show was lifeless. Not much happened. Oh, and I enjoyed seeing the Firefly Funhouse come back. But that's pretty much it, really. I'm not hyped for Crown Jewel. Like, remember, we have 3 weeks left till Survivor Series, and WWE has done absolutely no build. I have no idea what WWE has planned, but we'll have to wait and see. As always, guys, thank you guys for, enjoying. Thanks for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. As always, we go live every Monday, some Wednesdays, and I'm here almost every week on Fridays. Come update you guys with WWE, AEW, etc. Just know next week we'll be back to our normal schedule. I am doing a bunch of WWE 2K videos for you guys to keep you guys occupied. Next week, Raw review as always. Hopefully we'll have an AEW review. We'll have to wait and see. But Thursday, most likely Thursday night, I'll have a Crown Jewel review for you guys, and then we'll be right back here for the SmackDown review. So if you guys are not subscribed yet and you guys want to be updated on all things WWE, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, enable notifications by clicking the bell right next to my name, Fitzmont TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description down below. Thank you guys for all the love and support. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, guys. Peace.